There are three groups of people alive right now who sleep the way humans slept for almost all of our history. The Hadza in Tanzania, the San in Namibia, the Tsimane in Bolivia. No electricity, no thermostat, no screens, no alarm. In 2015, a team led by Gandhi Yetish and Jerome Siegel put monitors on them and measured their sleep, night after night, across 2 seasons. Here's what came back. 6.4 hours. That is the average, less than you slept last night. Less than you are supposed to sleep, according to every article you have ever read. And that is not the strange part. The researchers went looking for insomnia in these three groups. They could not find it, not because people were too polite to complain, because there is no word for it. 3 languages, 3 continents, 3 populations that have never met each other, and in none of them is there a term for lying awake at 3 in the morning, wanting to sleep, failing. So sit with the shape of that for a second. They sleep less than you do, and they sleep better than you do, which means every single thing you have been told about the number of hours has been answering the wrong question. Your body is waiting for 5 signals. It has been waiting your entire life. You are giving it one of them. Badly. And you have been taught to obsess over the one that matters least. We are going to count down through all 5. Number 5 is the one you already worry about. Number 1 is free, no effort, no cost. And in a study of 60,000 people, it was linked to a risk of dying, from anything at all up to 48% lower. Let's start at the bottom, with the number you have been chasing. Number 5, 8 hours. Ask anyone where the 8-hour rule comes from, and watch what happens. They will hesitate. Then they will say something about doctors, or studies, or what everybody knows. Here is where it actually comes from. It comes from arithmetic. In 1817, a Welsh mill owner named Robert Owen started campaigning with a slogan: 8 hours labor, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest. It was aimed at the 12 and 14-hour shifts that ran British industry, and it worked, and we owe him for it. But look at what it is. It divided the day into 3 equal parts. 24 divides by 3, that is all. That is the entire origin. It was a demand about factories. It was never a measurement of a human being. Now, this does not mean sleep does not matter. Sleep matters enormously. What it means is narrower and much more useful. The number was never the signal. Look at the Hadza again. 6.4 hours and an hour more in winter than in summer. Their sleep is not a fixed quantity. It expands and contracts with the season. Nobody in the group experiences that as a problem, because nobody has been told there's a target. Nobody fails. That last clause is doing more work than it looks like. In 2017, Kelly Barron and colleagues published a case series in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine. Patients came in with insomnia complaints. Their actual sleep, when measured, was fine, completely fine. What was wrong was the anxiety about the measurement. They had been reading their own tracker data every morning and grading themselves. The clinicians named it orthosomnia, the pursuit of perfect sleep, producing bad sleep. Think about what that requires. It requires a number. It requires knowing the number. It requires believing the number is a verdict. The Hadza cannot get orthosomnia, not because they are calmer than you, because there is nothing for the anxiety to attach to. So the 8-hour rule does not just fail to help. On the night you are lying there aware that you are failing it, the rule is an active ingredient in the thing keeping you awake. Not a cure. A cause. And there is a second thing hiding in that data, and it is uncomfortable. Go looking for the famous story about how humans used to sleep, and you will find the historian Roger Eckertz. He cataloged over 2,000 references in old documents to a first sleep and a second sleep, an hour of waking in between. Every night. People got up around midnight. They prayed, they talked, they had sex, they thought about things. Then they slept again. That is real. Eckertz did the work, and the references are there. But the 3 groups Yetish measured, the ones living closest to how we evolved, sleep in one continuous block, 6 to 7 hours, straight through. So which is ancestral? Honest answer. We do not know. Eckertz's evidence is European, historical, and mostly from long, dark northern winters. Yetish's evidence is equatorial, measured, and modern. They may both be true. Different places, different darkness. Notice what just happened, though. You now know that the 2 most confident stories about ancestral sleep disagree with each other, which tells you that anyone selling you a number is selling you a number. Counting hours is the least useful thing you can do with your attention tonight. So let's take it off the table and go find the 4 things that actually move. Number 4 is the one most people are doing on purpose, tonight, believing it helps. Number 4, the drink before bed. Watch someone fall asleep after 2 glasses of wine. It is fast. It is convincing. They will tell you, sincerely, that it is the only thing that works. For them. And they are not lying. Alcohol does put you under faster. That part is completely real, which is exactly why this one is so hard to kill. Here is the problem. Falling unconscious and sleeping are not the same event. Alcohol is a sedative. What a sedative does is switch you off. What sleep does is run a sequence. Alcohol destroys one part of it. REM, the stage where your brain processes emotion and consolidates what you learned that day. A 2024 meta-analysis pooled the controlled studies on this. For every 1 gram per kilogram of body weight, REM sleep dropped by 40.4 minutes. Reduction started appearing at around 2 standard drinks. 2 drinks, not a bottle, 2. Now, here is the part that explains something you have already lived through. Your body clears the alcohol in the first half of the night. In the second half, it is gone, all of it, and the metabolites left behind push you toward arousal instead of away from it. So you get switched off hard at 11, and you snap awake at 4, wired, for no reason you can name. That is not random. That is the drink ending. And notice the trap in the timing. The part you experience is the falling asleep. That happens while you are still conscious enough to file it as evidence. The damage happens while you are unconscious. Nobody watches, and the 4 in the morning wake-up arrives so far downstream you never connect the two. You have a memory of it working. You have no memory of it failing. That is not a character flaw. That is just how the night is shaped. Every sedative on Earth exploits the same gap. So does every sleeping pill that gets prescribed and then quietly stops helping. If the thing you take makes the first 20 minutes better and the last 3 hours worse, your own experience will vote for it. Every single time. Your experience is not neutral here. It only saw half the night. And there is a rebound. Your brain does try to claw back some of the REM it lost in that second half. The studies find it. But when you add the whole night up, total REM is still down. You do not get it back. You get a partial refund on a theft. So the thing you took to sleep is the thing standing over your bed at 4 in the morning. That is 4. It is a thing you add. The next 2 are not things you add. They are things that were taken away from you. You never noticed. Everyone lost them at the same time. Number 3, you think your problem is light at night. It isn't. Look at your ceiling right now. Whatever light is in the room you are in, your eyes are telling you it is bright enough. It is not. Your eyes are terrible at this. On purpose. They are built to adjust so smoothly you never notice the scale you are on. Here are the real numbers. Outdoors on an overcast morning, you are getting around 10,000 lux. Direct sun, up to 100,000. Indoors, in a well-lit office, 300 to 500. In your kitchen, at 7 in the morning, in winter, with the lamp on, maybe 50. 50 against 10,000, that is not dimmer. That is a different order of magnitude. And you can prove your eyes are lying to you in about 4 seconds, with a thing in your pocket. Take your phone and open the camera indoors. Look at the shutter speed, or just watch how much the image struggles. Now walk to a window and point it outside. The camera has to change its settings by a factor of hundreds. It is measuring. It has no opinion. Your eyes made that same walk and reported almost nothing. A bit brighter, maybe. That gap between what the camera measured and what you felt is the exact size of the problem. Your visual system is built to normalize so that the world looks stable. It succeeds, and the price of that success is that you have no felt sense of light intensity at all. You cannot feel it, only measure it. You have to be told. Nobody tells you. Researchers have a name for the condition of living inside those numbers. They call it biological darkness. You can be wide awake, reading, working, functioning, and your circadian system is receiving something close to night. In 2025, a study tested exactly this. Healthy people, no sleep disorders, exposed to 55 lux in the morning hours versus 800 lux in the morning hours. Same people, controlled conditions. The low-light mornings produced higher cortisol in the afternoon and evening, 25 minutes less total sleep, slow-wave activity pushed later into the night, and higher self-reported sleepiness and sadness. Read that last one again, sadness, from the light in the room in the morning. The researchers were careful about how they framed it, and so will I. These are changes that resemble patterns seen in depressive illness. It is not a claim that dim mornings cause depression. It is a claim that the same biological markers move. And now look at where the entire self-improvement industry has pointed you. Blue light glasses, night mode, blackout curtains, all of it aimed at the evening. The evening is the easy half. Darkness at night is free, and you are mostly getting it. The half you are failing is at 9 in the morning, indoors, under a lamp, wondering why you cannot get going. Your ancestors did not have a morning light strategy. They had a doorway. Which brings us to the one they had that you have deleted so completely you have never once thought about it. Number 2, temperature. Go to your thermostat and look at what it says. Whatever number is on it, it is the same number it will say at 3 in the morning. That is what a thermostat is for. It holds a line. Now go back to the Hadza data. This is the most interesting thing in the whole study. Nobody mentions it. They do not fall asleep at sunset. On average, they fall asleep about 3.3 hours after the sun goes down. For years, that looked like a loose fit, like sleep was tracking daylight badly. It was not tracking daylight at all. It was tracking the temperature falling. They fall asleep during the period when the ambient temperature is dropping. And they wake up near the coldest point of the 24-hour cycle, roughly an hour before sunrise, not when it gets light, when it gets cold. Here is why that is not a quirk of 3 populations. It is how the machinery works in every mammal that has been tested. Your core body temperature has to fall for sleep to begin. It drops by around 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit across the night, and it bottoms out at 4 or 5 in the morning. And the trigger is not the temperature, it is the drop. You fall asleep most easily while your core temperature is actively descending, not when it is low, when it is moving. So think about what a flat, climate-controlled bedroom does to that. It does not make you too hot, it does something worse and much quieter. It removes the gradient. The signal is not weak, it is absent. There is nothing to descend against. For every night of your life, your body has been listening for a temperature to fall, in a room built never to let it, not once. This is also the reason a hot bath before bed works, and the reason the explanation people give for it is backwards. It is not that the bath warms you up. It is the getting out of it dumps heat through your skin and produces a fast, steep fall. You are manufacturing the gradient by hand. The heat is the setup. The exit is the drug. Same logic explains a thing you have probably done without knowing why. Sticking a foot out from under the blanket. That is not fidgeting. Your hands and feet are where your body dumps heat. They are vents. Pushing one out is your thermoregulatory system, keeping the descent going after you have already buried the rest of yourself. Your body was still trying. In a sealed room, at a fixed temperature, under a duvet chosen for how it looks, it was still trying to find a gradient. It sent out a foot. And this is the cheapest one on the list. Let the room get colder as the night goes. That is it. That is the whole intervention. Somewhere in the low 60s Fahrenheit and falling rather than held. Not cold, falling. The Hadza are not disciplined about this. They are not doing a protocol. They are simply lying outside in the actual world, where the temperature goes down at night, because that is what temperature does. You had to build a machine to take that away from you, and then you had to buy books to get it back. So that is 4. Stop counting hours, drop the nightcap. Get real light in the morning, let the room fall. And the one left is the one I promised you at the start. It is free, it takes no discipline. And of all 5, it is the only one with 60,000 people and 10 million hours of data behind it. Number 1, regularity. In 2024, in the journal Sleep, Daniel Windred and colleagues published an analysis of 60,977 people from the UK Biobank. Not questionnaires, accelerometers, over 10 million hours of recorded movement. They calculated something called the Sleep Regularity Index. It ignores how long you sleep entirely. All it measures is how closely tonight matches last night, same times, same pattern, day after day. Then they looked at who died. The most regular sleepers had a risk of death from any cause between 20 and 48% lower than the least regular. Mortality, 16 to 39% lower. Cardiometabolic, 22 to 57% lower. And then they did the thing that makes this study matter. They put regularity and duration into the same model and asked which one was carrying the prediction. Regularity won, not duration. Consistency of timing predicted mortality better than how many hours anyone was getting. Now, I am going to be precise because this is exactly the kind of number that gets repeated wrongly. This is an observational study. It shows association, not proof. People with chaotic sleep timing may be sick for other reasons, or working shifts, or living lives that are hard in ways an accelerometer cannot see. But the effect is large, the sample is enormous, and the measurement is objective. It is about as strong as this kind of evidence gets. Try this for a week, not going to bed earlier. Not sleeping longer, just landing within the same half hour every night, including the 2 nights you were planning not to. Because those 2 nights are the entire mechanism. 6 hours every night scores higher on regularity than a week of 6 hours plus 2 nights of 10. The catch-up sleep you have been using to repair the week is what the index is measuring as damage. Sit with how backwards that is. The Sunday lie-in is not the recovery, it is the injury. It is a second time zone you fly into every 7 days. You have been doing it since you were 15. And calling it rest. Every week. There is a name for that too, social jet lag. The gap between the schedule your body would pick and the schedule your week imposes, measured the same way you would measure a flight. Around 70% of adults carry at least an hour of it, every weekend. And here is what makes it the number 1 on this list rather than the number 4. Every other thing we have covered costs you something. Light in the morning costs you a walk. Temperature costs you a colder room and an argument with whoever you live with. Skipping the drink costs you the drink. Regularity costs nothing. It is not less sleep, it is not more sleep. It is the same sleep, moved. And you already know who scores perfectly on this without trying. The Hadza have no alarm clock and no Friday. The sun does not know it is the weekend. There is no version of their life where the temperature drops 3 hours later because something good was on. They did not have discipline. They had no alternative. So go back to the beginning. 3 groups, 6.4 hours, and not one word in any of the 3 languages for the thing you do at 3 in the morning. They are not sleeping more than you. They never were. They are getting 5 signals that you are missing 4 of. The light that tells the clock what time it is. The temperature that tells the body to begin. The consistency that tells all of it that tomorrow will look like today. No sedative pretending to be sleep. And no number to fail at. You cannot buy any of them. That is probably why nobody has been selling them to you.